Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is life by design. What does it look like to actually take an active role in designing the life we desire to live into? So that's what we're going to talk about today. It should be a really fun conversation. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your molecules, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue, and now let's press our palms together, vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the pressure, the temperature, the motion. Allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Roslyn. I see you're here from YouTube this morning. The Facebook connection got reset yesterday, so it might work better today than it did yesterday. But in any case, it's wonderful to have you here with us. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us. And today we're talking about life by design. And I think this is a really great conversation to have. So many of us just kind of live life by default. You know, we go for a job just to have a job, not because it's a job that we connect with necessarily. We fall into situations and we don't really look at what do we really truly deeply desire and how can we make that be, how can we create that as part of our lives? And I want to extend the invitation to get more active in designing our lives, where we have, where we are connected first off to the things that light us up, that we actually explore the issue of what do we want? What do we desire? You know, it's so funny in the coaching work that I do. One of the things that comes up a lot is shaping our lives, designing our lives. And the question of, well, what do you want? What do you actually desire? And it's a very confronting question because it can be very disruptive. It can be a question that prompts us to actually challenge the things in our lives that are existing. And so if we get in touch with what we really desire, then it might mean that we have to make some sometimes radical changes. And so many of us find it easier to live with the devil we know than the devil we don't, you know, like going into the unknown, or even even the fear or challenge of going for something that we really care about and not making it, that can also be an impediment to taking on that challenge, taking on the challenge of really looking at what we dream of, what we desire. And this still makes me laugh and shake my head at the same time, that I have a friend who years ago I said, well, what about, what do you dream of? And they were like, nope, not going there. Just shut it down like right that quick. It was amazing. And it was because they had a plan. They saw how they were going to work through their life, and the dreams would get in the way. And I wonder, if not now, when, like at least to be laying the groundwork for our dreams. You may not be able to, it's not necessarily advisable to drop everything and follow your dream. But you can plan for it. You can start laying groundwork. You can be moving in that direction. And when you know what you want, when you know what your dreams are, life has a way of conspiring to support that, and in a very magical way. And it doesn't always look the way that you would imagine. It doesn't always look the way that you would plan it out, but things happen. The planets align, so to speak, in very mysterious ways. And one of the things that could be an impediment to following our dreams, or even to allowing ourselves to entertain our dreams, is that then we might become dissatisfied with the way things are, and we might become impatient and create all kinds of suffering for ourselves. But I liken it to having a course chartered, like having a destination, not chartered, but having a destination. The way that you get from here to there could change. Maybe you'll take side trips, maybe there will be unexpected adventures or pitfalls that you encounter along the way, but that destination is still held as an intention rather than a goal. And the distinction that I make between intentions and goals is goals are time delimited and based on certain expectations, right? Where an intention, in my lexicon anyway, has more flexibility, more fluidity to it. And we can find ourselves tripping and falling on the way to an intention, and then we can still hold the intention. It can accommodate those missteps or side trips, that we can still hold an intention. It's like an intention is a bigger container than a goal, at least for me. There's more of a constraint around a goal. Good morning, Lisa. So good to see you too. It's wonderful to have you back with us. Welcome. We're talking about life by design. So what does it look like to design your life? This was a really awesome breakthrough that I had a while ago. actually more than a year ago now, maybe even 2 years ago, but it was pretty radical, where I was talking to people in my practice about designing their lives. And I thought, I need to design my life. And what do I need? What would, if I could make it up, and this is a great question, if you could make it up any way you wanted, what would your life look like? And so at the time I was thinking, well, I have this, I would like to be able to do my practice and then have a break so that I can do other things in life that I want to do. And also so that I can just have some variety, right? So what had happened was that I had gone for a year, I guess, uh, seeing clients with some constancy. And then I really let myself get burnt out. I overdid it and I let myself get burnt out, and I decided to take a month off. And when I decided to take a month off, I saw that it took me that month to begin to recover. Like it was pretty extreme burnout. So I decided what I would really like, if I could make it up anyway, and it was kind of outrageous to think, is that instead of having a 4-month cohort, which is what I did previously, I would have a 3-month cohort, and I would take a month off. So I would do 3 months working, 1 month off, 3 months working, 1 month off. And just considering that possibility rattled me to the core, because it just went counter to everything that I had been trained into. You work hard, you take a little bit of vacation. Here, who takes 3 months off a year? At least in the United States, right? And working for 3 months, taking a month off, working for 3 months. Who does that? And how could I do that? And how could I do that financially? And what has been amazing is that since I started doing that, I've had the best financial years I've ever had. And I have given myself the space that I need or needed, and am taking advantage of more of the richness of life, the variety of life, not just doing the same thing day in, day out. And so that's been really important to me. And it was super radical. And that's what I want to say to you, is making the impossible possible. Thanks, Lisa. Lisa says that's incredible. It is incredible. Like it is kind of unbelievable, right? That that we can actually take the initiative to design our lives. And it took me more than a year actually to really implement that, because I found myself, one of the months I still had a couple clients through that month, and I had made all these other arrangements, and I'm navigating how to really take that time. And in fact, I'm doing that this month of September. So just a heads up, starting Friday, September 1st, we're going to be doing replays for the month of September. Lisa says, the new moon in Pisces is the perfect time to take that initiative. It's a great time to manifest. Awesome, Lisa. Thank you for that insight. That's great. So, I really encourage you to be willing to have the courage, give you courage, right? To encourage or embody courage, to really look at designing your life. Like what in your life, how do you want to live your life? What do you want your life to look like? And when we make these choices, it's remarkable to see that things tend to work out in that direction. Life tends to support us in the design that we set for ourselves, that we step into. Maybe because it takes such courage to really look and see, is my life in alignment with my values, with my values and what I value? Is it in line with the way that I want to express myself? Lisa says, that's how I ended up in Delaware, LOL. Good for you. Exactly. You had a vision, I imagine, of where you wanted to be, maybe what you want your life to look like. I still have visions of what I want my life to look like. And I'm visioning into that. I'm projecting that forward because it's not quite the time yet for me to pursue that, or that chapter in my life, but things are unfolding over time. And so if we can allow ourselves to move incrementally toward the vision of what we want. So some of my clients are facing an age or of an age near retirement. And what I've noticed is that some of them are initially inclined to say, well, my life is going to start at this point. Like I will, after I retire. Good morning, Gia. Good evening to you. Welcome. It's great to have you here with us. And Rosalind is here too. She's just here on YouTube. Anyway, and I lost my train of thought a little bit. That we can be moving incrementally in the direction that we're desiring to be, and that we can manifest these dreams that we have. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be effortless, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to take courage, because it is going to take courage, especially if you're choosing to do something or to live in a way that is not the standard, the acceptable standard. So Gia says, oh, Rosalind, good vibes. Hello, together in our safe, happy space with Mira. You're so sweet, Gia. Lisa says, I have to say it works for you. You look absolutely wonderful. I believe your energy has shifted to a higher plane. Lisa, thank you so much for that. And, I am noticing as we change, it's not common that we recognize the changes that we make, because we're going through it and we have our own continuum, right? But it's so interesting because there were a couple circumstances that came up over this past week that in the past, I think I would have gotten very anxious about. And there was no anxiety, there was no raising of the heart rate, there was no reaction. It was just being able to deal with, just to address the situation. And I think that there is an ease about that. It's so interesting. This came up with a session with a client yesterday a couple clients, in fact, who were saying that they feel like they're just at a different plane of existence, that the things that used to be the high dramas aren't appearing in that way. It's not that there aren't obstacles that occur. Lisa says, you seem much lighter. Wow, thank you. Thank you for that. I feel lighter. I feel like life is easier. And it doesn't mean that things don't happen, but I find myself not enmeshed in it. And that's what my clients were saying too, is that they're finding themselves at kind of a different space of existence. Irina, welcome. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about designing your life and really being willing to choose in alignment with your heart and soul, to choose a career path. Like if you're in a job that you hate, start looking for another job that is in alignment. Start thinking about what would light you up, or maybe find places in your life where you can give yourself more joy and nurturance. Lisa says, isn't it wonderful? Yes, life can be wonderful, right? It can be lighter and easier and freer. And it is a matter of our consciousness. And what happens is as the consciousness shifts, the circumstances that present themselves also shift, where there's not as much drama. There's not, even when there are things that there could be a lot of drama about, the drama just isn't there so much anymore. And it doesn't have to be. Some of us, I do know people who really deeply thrive on that drama. And it's kind of like this hamster wheel. The drama can be addictive. But there's so much more available to us as we allow life to flow and emerge. And I talk about this a lot in terms, and Lisa, this might be where one of the biggest shifts has occurred for me, is in really living into that who I am is life expressing itself through this unique vehicle that I am. And if we can adopt that notion that who we are is life expressing itself in its unique way through this unique vessel that we each are, then there's a greater ease, there's a greater acceptance, there's a greater willingness to let it unfold. And along with that notion that who I am is life expressing itself, is life is happening for me and through me rather than to me. And if that's the case, if that's the lens that we experience life, then even the most difficult circumstances take on a very different tenor, take on a very different tone, and it allows us a different perspective, and coming at life with a sense of curiosity rather than living in the fear of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Oh my gosh, what, when's the other shoe going to drop? That's a really hard place to live. And so many of us do. And, to be always anticipating the next crisis, just waiting for things to go wrong. The lens of waiting for things to go wrong versus the lens of life unfolding in its perfection. It doesn't mean that, the same circumstance could happen, but the response to that circumstance is going to be very different if I'm coming to it from a place of fear and protection versus a place of greater trust and curiosity. So Lisa says, can't get over it. It can't go over it, can't go under it, have to go through it. Exactly. And so here's the thing, we can crawl through it, like crawling through the trenches, or we can dance through it, or we can walk, or we could jog, or we could skip, or, there are any number of ways that we could go through it, right? And there is a way that we can have greater grace, greater access to grace in going through life, and living life. And the other thing too is life is process, not outcome. It's not how many toys we collect. It's not how much status we achieve. Life is the process of living. And those toys and that status, those are byproducts. They're not the goal. That's not the point. Those are byproducts. They're markers maybe, but the point of life is living. That is what life is about. And I think it's taken me a good portion of my life to get to a place where I really get it. I get it. And maybe rather than going through it, we get to be in it. So anyway, I've got to jump. I have a client. And so I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live here usually each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And as always, it is such a pleasure and privilege to have the opportunity to share this time with you and to be considering life together. So until next time, so much